If you want to make 10 times more money, what do you think you need to grow 10 times? Yourself and your team or your employees. So in this video, I'm going to show you a quick hack. It will take you 10 to 15 minutes to set it up, and it's a peer-to-peer anonymous feedback system. You know, they say it's not about what you see in the mirror is holding you back, but what you don't see in a mirror is actually holding you back to grow your own income and your company. So with this hack, you will have anonymous feedback system set it up for your company, which helps you, your employees and yourself to understand what you need to change upon yourself to make the biggest impact in your life. Then subscribe to our channel. Now stay tuned. I'm presenting you some stuff we are doing, and biggest benefit of listening to us is not only just about Amazon. It's also about building teams, remote teams, building remote teams remotely. Of course, it's 10 times cheaper than building them in an office, but remote teams always require a little bit more leadership skills and a little bit systematic approach to performance and goal setting, right? So anyway, I want to talk about one simple trick. If you have people, then supposed to do that as quickly as possible. And this little trick will increase your employees' performance. And so why should you care? So anyway, just quick fact that wherever you are in life, what got you here won't get you there. Whatever skills you have, of course, everything you earn and everything you do right now is a result of your efforts and skills. And of course, if you want to grow 10x, you need to grow your people and of course yourself 10x. And so how can you grow fast if you keep doing the same mistakes and you don't even see your weaknesses, right? And you don't see what, where, or how you're supposed to grow. So there's a good book about what got you here won't get you there. And there's a saying that the person who you see from the mirror is the one who is stopping you to achieve your success. And this book actually says that well, it's not actually 100% true, because the person you don't see in the mirror is often the one that doesn't allow you to grow. So sometimes we don't know things about ourselves, which areas we're supposed to improve because we think we are amazing already. And so what's the solution for growing your people and growing yourself? And of course, improving your team performance. So it's really simple. It's a feedback. And getting feedback from other people about yourself is often not really easy, especially for the people who say they want honest feedback, but they're not able to receive honesty. And feedback is something where other people will tell you what you're supposed to do or do differently, right? And that's the area where you can grow. Now, in a company, in a remote environment, we have two types of feedbacks. So one is where managers give feedback to employees, and we usually do it quarterly, and we do it systematically, and we call it quarterly performance review. And we also have peer-to-peer feedback where, people can give feedback to each other, and this is where they can help each other to grow. Now, today I'm going to speak about this peer-to-peer feedback, and it's an anonymous way to get information about yourself or like what you're supposed to do differently. Now, peer-to-peer feedback is a really cool system where sometimes you hear about stuff that, you kind of knew about yourself, but you didn't really accept it, or sometimes it just comes with complete surprise. And it's where other employee is giving confidential or anonymous feedback to other employee. And it's completely anonymous, so there's no tensions in between. And so it's important because, it helps our employees to understand the performance better, right? Because maybe you think you're amazing already. And it creates strong company culture with frequent feedback. Because now everybody can understand their strengths and weaknesses better because other people are going to tell this to you, right? And receiving and giving feedback becomes natural. And that's something that really is not natural usually, especially in Filipino environment. Because some people, like I said, they want to avoid conflicts and they don't want to have drama. And this system, peer-to-peer feedback, actually gives feedback without drama and actually helps other people to become better. And so basically, you collectively work towards improving our team productivity. So you and your employees can become better and more productive people, right? And so what's the solution to do that? So we have this app, it's called Teammates, and it's free. And it's really cool app in that sense of setting things up just takes you maybe 15 to 30 minutes first time. And now I'm going to walk you through quickly how you can set it up. You can even do it if you have only 2 people in the team, because you may also want people to give you a feedback. And again, like, of course, if you have an admin account, you can find out who gave you what feedback. But personally, our HR set it up, and I never asked who said anything because it's helpful. It's not personal. Now, the Teammates is basically meant for students, and it's about to evaluate and give feedback to each other. It's not only from peer to peer, it can also be used from manager to peer, and it's really, really simple system to use. And we have used this now, I think, like 5 years with different questions. And now I'm going to walk you through quickly how you can do that. So step number 1, you see, you need to have a course. And of course, you need to add a new course in that Teammates app. And then you name that course, you create an ID, you need to use time zone because it works with the email. And basically, you just add a course. Now, in the course, you have to define also instructor. So one person who can see the results, and it can be your HR, it can be your VA, or someone who maybe deals with the people in your company. So after adding an instructor, you add session. The session is the third one on the menu, and session is something where you will make an instructions for the whole thing. So you need to choose session in your own questions, because there are also some other sessions that have predefined questions in the tool already. You use your own ID, the course that you made. Then you name the session, for example, peer-to-peer feedback, and you give instructions what's going on with this whole thing, right? So after adding a session, you can ask when this is going to be occurring, and for us, as you see here, it's basically like you can give feedback to each other during the 10 days, right? So after adding a session, you start adding questions, and questions. Then you choose different template for the questions, but we are using a say question because we don't have multiple choices or numbers or points. We don't do stuff. So we have simple questions, and they rate people based on these questions, and we also have one open-ended question. So we are using a say question. So from there, an adding question looks like this. So you put a question there. For example, our question here is like, does this person accept criticism? Like publicly or like gracefully with no drama. And the options are like never or rare or sometimes or often or always. And then, of course, we choose what's the minimum value and the maximum value. And again, who the feedback path, who is giving feedback about whom. So we're choosing, like, in this particular tool, we call employee students. So students are giving feedback to other students, right? Again, like super simple, you add this question, then you add another question, and after you've added all the questions, you're done with the questions, you add students to that particular course, right? So we click the students, you choose your session from there. You know, we have peer-to-peer feedback session there, and then you add students. I made gray areas for some of our employees there with their email addresses, but basically, you see, you send an invitation to those students, and even without accepting, they will actually get these emails. Now, question examples. For example, you can ask questions like, does this person accept criticism? I've already told. The answer is never, or sometimes, or always, right? Or you can ask questions like, does this person follow through on a task delegated to him or her in an appropriate and timely manner? You know, when people delegate tasks to each other, then obviously if one person never completes the tasks on time, never actually notifies you, then delegation part really sucks, right? And if A players want to get things done and there's some C player who never responds, then this is bad, right? So for example, this is a really good way to people to tell that, you know, you don't really follow through the tasks delegated to you, never or rarely, right? And like I said, the questions are usually coming from the weaknesses or problems that are in the team or things you want to improve. And for example, we have also one open-ended question, because we don't have many questions. We want to have 3 to 5 questions, because we want people to being able to get this stuff done in less than 5 minutes. So for example, open-ended question can be, what do you think this person needs to improve upon his or herself? And this is open-ended question, so be specific, polite, and helpful. So we have one open-ended question as well. Sometimes, you know, when people can tell you one thing you can improve upon yourself. Really cool stuff, you know. For example, for me, they said like, listen until the end before you say or comment, right? You know, so how do you come up with the questions? So like I said, there's weaknesses, you have core values, you have company goals. You can build questions around OKRs. You can build questions about whatever you want to currently is going on in a company. Maybe you run out some theme in a company. Like, for example, we just run out a theme where we help our own people to improve their quality of life with the kids. And it is a program, and we can run questions around that program if they want to or have to collaborate with each other. Right? So it's really about, but mostly it's about weaknesses, right? So if your company has certain weaknesses, like for example, delegation is a weakness in the company, you can ask questions around the delegation. If communication is a problem, you can ask questions around the communication. If people, whatever you feel is a weakness, right? Now, what do you want to avoid when giving a feedback, right? So when giving feedback, you know, we don't want to be personal, right? Because it's not personal, right? And we want to be constructive, whatever we say, and we want to be polite, because it's not about saying bad things to others. It's about helping other person to grow. And so we want to be helpful, and we don't want to assume that the person understands us. So that's why we want to be specific, right? So if you just send one sentence that, you know, be more like this, then it might not be that the person understands you. So we don't want to assume that they do understand. So we want to be specific and polite, and as explain what do we mean with of course, with being polite and constructive. Now, the email, when the session is opened, the feedback session looks something like this. And it's really, you'll get an email, everybody gets this email, and you have this link, right? And in this link, you can open it and give feedback to every person in that particular team. Now let's look at some results, because talking about stuff is sometimes boring if you don't have any results, right? So, for example, the question number 1: does this person accept criticism? This is, by the way, this is something that only the instructor can see on the back end, right? People don't see that, right? And so you also will get the scores about people, right? So you, the instructor or HR, can actually see, who is the worst and who is the best on that area, who is the best person to accept criticism, right? And particularly on that particular case here, we can see a lot of same type of numbers, right? So if you see something like this, like we have see here, like it's a lot of 4.75s or 67s, then you can make the question more specific, because you want it will be helpful. Because if you just always, and because the person, they will receive their own number to the email as a result, right? And if they always see the same number, it's not helpful for them. So if everybody will receive that 4.75 to their email, that everybody says that you're giving, you're accepting criticism like 95%, well, then you're supposed to change that question, because it's not helpful anymore, right? You want to tackle these problems that you have in the company.
Yeah, now that's actually a good point overall. I mean, in general, that if people are saying that things are perfect as the way they are, I mean, that's a big red flag, because things are never ever perfect. There's always things to improve. So if you think that things are perfect, then you're just not thinking enough.
Exactly. Or then maybe the question is not so well defined.
Yeah, exactly.
That you just don't know how to answer it. You just want to be polite. Remember, this is the question where they answer from 1 to 5 only. They don't have, it's not open-ended question. It's just 1 to 5, right? Okay, let's look at the open-ended question example here. So, for example, question: what do you think this person needs to improve upon on his or herself? And some people don't give any responses, which basically HR is supposed to tell them that always give some response, because if you don't have response, you're not thinking again, right? There's always something that someone can improve, right? And if you don't know, just write there that I don't know, but maybe this, right? And so, we can see that some responses also, like the first one: keep sharing your learnings and insights. It's really helpful, at least for me. It's not something that you need to improve upon yourself, right? It's just like a well done sentence. It doesn't help that person again, right? We want this to help people, right? And that's why the moderator or the person who done these questions have to actually go into the tool and think about what type of changes they want to do, right? Let me see, is there anything this person needs to improve about? So continue improving step-by-step process, how to order and process orders from each market. Well, yeah, well, that's good. So anyway, it is all trial and error. But like I said, like imagine if you can actually get constructive feedback about your weaknesses on things that you're unconsciously doing not well. Like, for example, sometimes I interrupt people since I'm the boss, right? And I know that because of that, right? And now I just keep listening until they finish, and then they will answer, right? Because you might are shooting yourself into the leg with employees and thinking it's their fault, but actually you are acting wrong, right? And like I always like to say that I don't need to be right. I don't want to be right. I want to be wealthy, right? So for me personally, it's completely fine to receive whatever feedback that helps me to grow. Okay, cool. And I guess that's a wrap. So set it up um, see how it goes, and enjoy peer-to-peer feedback. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, thumbs up. If you like to know more about how to build remote teams, employees in Philippines, then subscribe to our channel. If you want to know more about how to build Amazon business, how to build Amazon employees, and if you think this video is useful for someone, send them a link and thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much. Ciao.